Welcome back, video game design students. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to combine the separate objects you may have created to block out your ship. So I have a separate tail fin from the rest of my ship. The first thing we need to do is actually make this into one object. So there's my tail fin object, there's my spaceship object. I'm going to select both of those, or you would probably want to select all of the pieces you have. So get those selected, and then we're going to come up to Mesh, and then we're going to choose Combine. Now this is all one object. You'll notice that all of the objects are now outlined in green, whereas before one or more of them were outlined in white. So this signifies that they are all one object. But if I go into face mode, they are still separate meshes, and we want to have one big continuous mesh. And so by double clicking on a face, it selects all of the touching faces on that piece. So we can see that the fin is separate from the body, and so we need to fix that. There's a couple different ways we can start. For this, it's something like this. I would start by just opening up the different sections of the mesh to get those open. So I want to connect this outside edge to the bottom of my fin here. And before I get going, I just want to do a little bit of cleanup so that I'm going to undo some of this overlapping that I have here. I'm just going to move those vertices up. I'm going to snap them to the top of my ship there by holding V. V for vertex, it snaps to points. So we got that there. That'll be one flat thing. And there's a couple of different ways I can go about doing this. I don't want to have what's called an n-gon, which is a polygon just with more than 4 faces. One of those would look like, let me go to this, append a polygon tool. So something like that. This actually has 5 sides. So if I just count the actual number of edges, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though these are straight and perfectly in line, these are 2 separate edges, which makes this a 5-sided polygon. This actually may be one of the ways I go through and do this, is just using the append to polygon tool. And then I'll cut it up later to get my quads and my tris that I want. So I'm just going around connecting this to all of the different edges. Notice that I'm working counterclockwise when I do these. That's to make sure that the faces are going the right way, and actually these arrows show that also. Yeah, I think that matches the other side. And there we go. Now that is all one complete mesh now. The fin is actually connected in with the rest of my ship. Now to kind of clean this up, I could, let me show you one pretty cool little tool here. I'm going to cut my fin in half to go along with this line that I made earlier to round out the engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, this is called an edge ring, all of these edges that are more or less perpendicular to each other. So I'm going to select all those edges, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh and Connect, and that is going to put a line straight down the middle of those. And then I can come back with, say, my multi-cut tool, and I can connect those vertices there and these vertices here. So that's a little better. I still have some triangles that I could maybe get rid of. But I think for the sake of cleanliness, I think I'll just leave it like that. Because there's nothing really wrong with those triangles. It would just be kind of a cosmetic thing at this point. So I also have my guns here that are not connected. That's what's happening. I'm still in that multi-cut tool. So I want to combine these as well. Select all my weapons and the ship. Mesh combine, so that they are all one thing. And now this is where it can get really complicated. Because I have all of these edges here around each of these little turrets that need to connect out into this one big large square. For something like this, it might be a little more prudent to actually just create these a different way, and this might be something that you end up doing too. It's just, we'll get rid of that, and I'm going to cut in a different point here. What's another cool thing about the multi-cut tool is if you want to cut right in the center of an edge, if you hold shift, you can snap to all these different percentage points, so it goes by tens. So I can go right in the center of that edge, hold shift again, go right in the center of that edge, and then back under to that corresponding point there on the bottom. And then just like with the engine, we talked about making stuff round. I'm going to go all the way around like this. I'm making one cut instead of two. So with these faces, I can extrude them if I hit the right button. And then this is where my new guns will come out of. So I'm set that up like that. So again, I'm setting up geometry on the face of these. So that I can make them round. Alright, let's extrude those out. Alright, and I'm going to use the move tool just so I can move them straight forward. One of the cool things I can do is if I hold X, snapping to grid, if you're under your move snap settings, retain component spacing is off, now those are totally flat very quickly. Let's make them a little more round. Alright. So instead of having to do that for the other side like this, which would be obnoxious, and then I probably wouldn't get it exactly the same. Now the whole reason we wanted to have a split down the middle like this, and if you don't have a split down the middle, you can use the multi-cut tool. And I'm going to do it, I'm going to show you on this wing here. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag and hold shift. I can put a division there and then go into vertex mode. Make sure it's snap to grid, and I can make sure that that is right down the center. I'm going to undo that because I already have one. So once you get something like that, I can grab, select, and delete all the faces on this side of my ship. So make them go away. And I'm going to mirror this back over and complete my ship again. So I'm going to go to Mesh, Mirror Geometry, and I'm going to open up the options for you because everybody's doing something different. we need to check these options, see what they do. The main one is the mirror direction. Which direction do we want to mirror this over? And we have positive and negative values for our three x, y, and z axes. So again, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, remember this gizmo, the lines show you the positive value. And so my ship is here in the positive x quadrants. So I need to mirror it toward the negative x. I need it to go to the left. So check that out. Choose your particular axis that you need to mirror it toward. And go ahead and mirror this. Now, this is going to be important depending on the size that you're actually modeling your ship in. If you're modeling your ship very, very small, this merge threshold may be too big. And check real fast. Some of these points along that axis that you're mirroring over may get collapsed. And if that happens, then you can tell it not to merge the vertices, or you can drop the merge threshold down. I don't know if you can get it lower than 0.001. This is supposed to be more or less if the 2 points are in the exact same position, then it'll merge them together. But if that happens, tell it don't merge vertices, and we can merge those vertices on an individual basis. It'll take a little more time, but you'd have to manually go all the way around your ship. Make sure you just select like 1 point at a time. Make sure you get both of the vertices, and then you can go to Edit Mesh and Merge, and that will manually combine those two halves for you. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. We have combined one or more objects. Some of this we had to rebuild, which was okay. It was faster for me to rebuild it than to attempt to just connect it each individually. In the next video we will go into how to add in some more details. See you then.